Right, welcome ladies and gents. Let's talk House of Dragon episode 3. Oh, good lord, this was a good episode. Now, I have to, at the start of this review, take a small time to talk about the comparisons between House of Dragon and Lord of the Rings. I have to, because unfortunately, Rings of Power's come out, 2 episodes in, $1 billion spent on it, and it's poo. House of Dragon comes out, 3 episodes in. First episode was good enough anyway, right? And this House of Dragon equally has a large scope that, you know, not as large as Lord of the Rings. I get it, but Lord of the Rings is still telling quite an enclosed story within a large lore. And they spent so long in Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, talking about such trivial nonsense. Most people checked out. Most people were really, really bored. House of the Dragon introduces you to quite a wide array of politics, which generally speaking can be really boring, but they introduce you to this quite wide array of politics in a way which is engaging, actually interesting, compelling. They managed to do character development quite well, and also introduce multiple stages of narrative threads which are going to be picked up further along the line. And I know I don't want this to be a comparison, but since Rings of Power has released, you must do a quick discussion piece between the two, because House of Dragon, genuinely a good show thus far. Matt Smith is fantastic, really good, and his character, the motives behind it, all very, very interesting. Rings of Power, poo. So I did have, I whilst watching this, I had to do that comparison. So I do apologise for people that, you know, aren't interested in that, but it's something which had to be said from my side of things. So House of Dragon episode 3 coincidentally picks up, I believe, 3 years into the future, right? 3 years or so into the future. You've got brand new child born of King and his new wife, and that posed a really interesting, as a son, that posed a really interesting element again to add to this political fray of, well, is Aegon going to take, I always think egg on toast or egg on face when I heard that name, but is Aegon going to take the throne? Is he going to become the heir, this little child? And you see it's his second name day, and they're going out for a hunt, for just a hunt to celebrate it. And you see all the political movements occurring, loads of individuals talking to the king. I think you should do this, you should do this, I think you should do this. Loads of differences. One, the hand even suggests that Rhaenyra should marry her brother, which is still shocking because, of course, incest, you know, in our cultures, not good. So it is shocking to hear, but obviously as per the Targaryens, it's pretty much the given that that's what's going to happen. Incest. And it's still shocking, it's still disgusting, but you kind of see all these moving pieces of puzzles, and the king is just completely just rejecting it all and getting really frustrated and angry at the whole subjects and topics. Anyway, what I found to be quite interesting in this particular episode was essentially the use of wild animals as, I guess, kind of like a representation, an allegory for what's happening in show. So the king is really conflicted, and the huntsmen find the white hart. It's a white deer, basically like a buck, and that's what they're going to try and hunt, because it's a good tradition, it's a sign from the gods that Aegon's going to be the heir, that sort of thing. They don't actually find the white hart in the end. They find just a random deer that's really, really big, stag, whatever. And I thought that was a really good visual representation of, one, the god's sign saying no, he's not going to be king, but also the conflicted nature of the king as he went to kill this sort of stag. You know, did he want to do it? Did he not? And he did in the end, and he sort of struggled. It was on his second blow. And obviously he was quite hungover because he got really drunk. Emotions run high after all these people were pestering him to marry off his daughter as well as marrying off his son. Madness. But I liked that. And then what was funny was obviously Rhaenyra had gone off into the woods because she's trying to be betrothed to Lannister, to XYZ, to loads of different people. The Lannister was typical Lannister. I like how they kept that, the Lannister thread running through it all. That was quite fun. But she ran off into the woods and she saw the White Hart. The mythical, traditional stag. And I thought that was really nice. I liked that a lot. I really liked that. I don't know why I liked it as much as I did, but just subtle little... It's not even really subtle, but it was just a nice touch, you know? And then from henceforth, King spoke to Rhaenyra and was like, look, no, I did waver at one point, but you will be on this throne. And I liked that. And then by the end of the show, he was like, no, you can just choose who you want to marry. Again, good. It seems to be this breaking of tradition is the tradition in this king, and I liked that. And then we flash forward to obviously the war that's happening in the Stepstones with the Crab Feeder and Daemon, and that I really liked. The action scenes were great. Really, really, Matt Smith is just, there's a lot of sort of charismatic emanating off of Matt Smith as he performs in this role. He didn't even, I don't even think he said anything, in fact, in this episode. But he was on screen a lot. And there's a lot of presence to his role as Daemon. So this is the war that he's been fighting for 3 odd years. And now the king steps in. He's sick of it. He's going to go and help because the Stepstones might be lost. And Daemon gets a letter for this. And he goes mental. It's literally don't shoot the messenger, but he's beating the messenger to a pulp. And then he decides, right, I'm going to go in. I'm going to ambush them. I'm going to say that we are surrendering. This is what he does. He walks in with a white flag, pretends to surrender, lures all of the sort of traitors out of the caves, and then the sort of trap is set for everyone to go and try and murder them all. And what I thought was quite interesting was when the Crab Feeder went... So the Crab Feeder just seems to be this figurehead that we don't know anything about him, and he's dead by the end of the episode anyway. But when he went into the caves, and then when we see someone dragging half a body out of the caves, I was like... Just for a quick second, I was like, oh, that's Matt. They killed Daemon. But no, they didn't. They killed, obviously, the Crab Feeder. And this is his sort of act of rebellion. Rebellious till the end. Even this war... You know, he has to win because it's a sign of weakness otherwise. It's just such a difference between the Rings of Power. You know, you got 3 episodes, about the same runtime as the Rings of Power. So much more has happened. Even the camera work is better in House of Dragon. Even the camera work. There's this great shot just as Rhaenyra and the king finish their discussion, and the camera just gently slides in. Just gently slides in to, you know, to close up on the king as he's wrapping his fingers on the chair. Just that alone, that one shot to me was like, ah, yeah, this is much better. Miles better, technically speaking, than Rings of Power. Rings of Power is just so goddamn dull. What a way to bore people. House of Dragon and Game of Thrones introduced politics in an interesting way. This, Rings of Power, is just, fucking, kill me now. Anyway, consistently good show thus far. Have enjoyed it. The actor who played Corvus Velaryon, Valeris, the snake, basically, his son, terrible actor, and also the uncle, very wooden. Not quite sure what was going on there. Very, very wooden. The wigs are still terrible on most people, but I can overlook it because pretty damn good show. Let me know what you guys think down below. What's going to happen next? Because I think maybe Rhaenyra is going to choose that night. Get freaky. Cheers. Bye-bye.